B&B fans, Logan's debut fashion show is finally here, but there's one big mystery nobody seems to be talking about. Thinking face. If Eric isn't the designer anymore, then who actually created the collection? Because somehow the runway is ready, and that raises a very interesting question: is there a surprise designer behind Logan's big launch? Let's discuss. Hey B&B fans! Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the biggest mysteries surrounding the new Logan fashion house on the bold and the beautiful. The long-awaited debut collection is finally ready to be revealed, but there's one huge question hanging over everything: who actually designed the clothes? Because the last time we checked in on this storyline, the legendary Eric Forrester had already stepped away from the project. So how did Katie and Bill suddenly manage to pull together an entire runway collection? Let's talk about it. Logan finally launches. After weeks of tension and setbacks, the Logan fashion house is finally launching its first runway show. Katie Logan has been under enormous pressure trying to prove that this new company can stand on its own. But losing Eric as the lead designer created a massive problem. Without him, the entire creative direction of the collection was suddenly uncertain. Thankfully for Katie, Bill Spencer stepped in with reassurance. He reminded her that the company had already paid Eric for the designs earlier in the process. In Bill's mind, that means the designs legally belong to Logan now. But Katie still feels uneasy about it. And honestly, you can understand why. Because the last thing Logan needs right now is another scandal. The design problem. Before Eric stepped away, he had already started working on the collection's concept sketches. But the situation quickly became complicated. Eric wasn't thrilled with how things were developing. His original ideas were meant to be luxurious and high fashion. However, Bill had a very different approach. Bill is a businessman first. His focus was on budget and speed, not necessarily artistic perfection. Instead of expensive materials like Italian silk, he pushed for cheaper fabrics so the line could be produced faster and more affordably. That clash between creativity and business created tension behind the scenes. Eventually, Eric decided the project wasn't going in the direction he wanted. So he walked away. And that left Katie in a nightmare situation: a fashion launch with no designer leading the collection. So who finished the designs? Here's where things get really interesting. Even after Eric left, Bill insisted that the company could still use the sketches that had already been created. Since Logan paid for them, he believes they have every right to move forward. But that raises a big question. Were the designs simply mass-produced based on Eric's original sketches? If that's the case, then the debut collection might still look very similar to Eric's vision, even though he's no longer involved. And if the designs resemble something from Forrester Creations, that could cause serious trouble. Because fans know how protective the Forrester family can be about their brand. Honestly, this whole situation feels like a ticking time bomb. Launching a fashion house without a clear designer credit is already risky. But if the clothes look too close to Eric's work, people in the industry are going to notice immediately. And once those comparisons start, the accusations could come fast. Katie's biggest fear is becoming a joke in the fashion world. And sadly, that outcome suddenly feels very possible. What could happen next? Here's my prediction. The runway show will probably start off smoothly, but something dramatic could happen during the event itself. Maybe someone from Forrester recognizes the designs. Maybe the press starts asking questions. Or maybe Eric himself realizes his sketches were used. Any of those scenarios could instantly turn Logan's big debut into a full-blown scandal. And if that happens, the rivalry between Logan and Forrester could explode even further. Right now, Katie and Bill are celebrating because they managed to get the collection ready in time. But the real test will happen when the designs finally hit the runway. If the fashion world starts comparing the collection to Eric's work, Logan's dream launch could quickly become a legal nightmare. And knowing the bold and the beautiful, drama on the runway is almost guaranteed. Engagement question boosts comments. So B&B fans, what do you think? Thinking face. Do you believe Katie and Bill secretly used Eric's designs? Or do you think there's a surprise designer behind Logan's debut collection? And more importantly, will the runway show be a success or a total disaster? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.